Misha. More drink and more drink. Hey, Misha. Stop hating. I don't get invited.
Watch this young woman go live on Facebook to say sorry and look real close at the man standing right behind her.
Hey, y'all. This Noo-Noo. I apologize for going live on Rika. I ain't had no business doing all that. My page been blocked, so that's why I'm going live.
This is 27-year-old Renita Williams, a mother of 3, going live on Facebook to say sorry, and the man behind her with a gun to her back is the boyfriend she already left. In a few minutes, this becomes the last video she ever makes. And this is her own mother.
My page is blocked.
Bitch wanna be famous, I'ma make fucker famous.
No.
You wanna be famous, I'ma make you famous.
No.
No. Everybody wanna be famous, let's be famous today.
Okay.
That is Anita, already shot and bleeding, who somehow dragged herself to a neighbor's door and got the police on the line while her daughter's final moments were still streaming live for the whole world to see. So how does a young mother who loved her kids and moved like a boss end up saying sorry at gunpoint inside her own family's home while the people closest to her watch it happen live? Hold that thought, because to really understand it, we have to go back to the start, where the warning signs were flashing the whole time and nobody could move fast enough to stop what was coming. This is the story of Renita Williams. Renita, the one her people lovingly called Noo-Noo, came up in Shreveport, Louisiana, a place where plenty of folks grow up with very little and very little room to slip. She was raising 3 kids on her own after a relationship that did not work out, and even though carrying all of that by yourself is a heavy load, she handled it like it was light. Her children always came first, and everybody who knew her respected the way she held it all down without ever waiting on somebody to come and save her. When her brother sat down to talk about her later, the first thing he wanted you to understand was that those kids were never something she played about. So listen to him say it in his own words.
We gonna do homework, we'll do. With them kids, that's one thing she never played about. Nobody ever knew in the world, no matter what, them kids, like no matter if she was jugging or what, I call her and say, somebody out of line with she hitting her with the quickness and getting on. I'm talking about I ain't playing no game. More said, go back there and give me 3 of them granny switches. Y'all know them granny switches here.
On top of being a mother, she was making a real name for herself as an interior designer, taking regular houses and turning them into beautiful homes, then posting the work on Facebook, where she was slowly building up a real following. The people around her saw a woman who bet on herself and kept on winning, somebody who carried herself like she did not need help from anybody to make it, and her brother said you could feel that boss energy on her from a mile away.
Everything with that when she had really want the boss that like, you know what, I don't really, you know what I'm saying, I don't really need nobody to go do this. Like if we go do that together, we gonna do that together, but I'm really on some boss shit right now. She was really on some, I'm like, damn, you know what to do.
And that is exactly what makes the rust of this so hard to sit with, because a woman who did not need nobody ended up tangled up with a man she should have left in the rear view a long time ago. That man was Jonathan Robinson, a 37-year-old from the same city, and when he first came around, he looked like a straight blessing. He came off as protective and caring and present, the kind of man a single mother might thank God for, and he got close with her kids and stepped in like the father figure they never really had.
Who was side bitch?
Oh shit, I don't know. Tell him who the side bitch is.
No, but
Okay.
you ain't now.
Tell him, baby.
You not the side bitch. Why that?
Shit, I don't know who the side bitch is, right? I'm trying to see where she at. I'm the side bitch. Oh.
Showing up to school meetings and making himself a regular part of the home. So for a little while, it all felt like the real thing. But behind that easy smile, Jonathan was carrying a whole lot of darkness that Renita could not see yet. And we'll get into just how dangerous he really was a little later on. There was also something else he was hiding, and this part had nothing to do with his temper, because Renita believed she had a man who was hers and hers alone, when the truth is she had walked straight into a love triangle that was already years deep. There was another woman in the picture, somebody named Sharika Taylor out of Houston, Texas, and by the time Renita came along, Jonathan and Sharika already had a long history together. It's not fully clear whether Renita knew about her from the jump, but at some point, both women figured out the other one existed, and for a while they put up with the whole twisted setup. Situations like that never stay quiet for long though, and once this one finally broke open, it set off a chain of events that none of them would ever walk away from. The peace between these two women started cracking, and like so much of life these days, it all spilled out onto social media for everybody to watch. Sharika got on Facebook and started calling Renita out, throwing accusations that only made a shaky situation worse. And by the end of 2017, Renita had taken all she was willing to take. She decided she deserved a man who would put her first and nobody else. So she went on Facebook and told the world she was done with Jonathan for good. In her mind, walking away was the end of the headache, but in reality, it was the start of something far worse. The trouble was that Jonathan wasn't the type to take the loss and keep it moving. He kept reaching out and begging and asking for one more chance, and because of the kind of heart Renita had, she gave him that chance one more time. It didn't last. They broke things off again, and this time the split lit a fuse. So heading into early 2018, the back and forth between Sharika and Renita boiled all the way over. From where Renita was standing, Jonathan was the one still chasing her, still trying to pull her back even though she wanted out, while from where Sharika was standing, it looked like Renita was the one trying to take her man, and that misunderstanding is really what set everything off. Feeling played, Sharika posted a warning and told Renita to stop trying to mess up somebody else's happiness by dealing with a taken man, or she might end up miserable herself. And Renita wasn't about to let that ride, so she fired right back and posted that people shouldn't play with her because they wouldn't like the way she played back. Then came April of 2018, and the moment that pushed everything past the point of no return. Renita went live on Facebook to set the record straight, telling her side and making it plain that she was not the one chasing anybody. And somewhere in that live stream, she said the thing that would get all the way under Jonathan's skin, that maybe Sharika just couldn't handle the truth that her man still wanted Renita. To everybody else, it was just talk, but to Jonathan, it felt like the final disrespect, and all that anger he had been holding on to finally had somewhere to land. On the morning of April 12, 2018, Jonathan got in his car and drove all the way from Houston, Texas, to Shreveport, where Renita was staying with family. He pulled up with a gun and a plan already set in his head, and when he reached the home of Anita Williams, Renita's mother, the whole feeling of the day flipped dark in a second. He forced his way inside and demanded that Renita say sorry, an apology for the posts and the live streams that had bruised his ego and embarrassed him and Sharika both. When she told him no, he stepped back outside, and a few moments later he came back through that same door with the gun in his hand, and just like that, a family home turned into a hostage situation, with Renita, her mother, and her brother all held at gunpoint. From there, things moved fast and they moved ugly, because at some point, Anita spotted a small opening and tried to make a run for it, but before she could get clear, Jonathan opened fire and hit her, and Renita's brother managed to break loose and get out of the house, barely escaping the same fate. With her mother down and bleeding, Renita had no moves left, so she did the only thing she thought might keep her alive. Her own Facebook account had been blocked at the time, so she pulled up her brother's account instead and went live to give the apology Jonathan was demanding, while he stood right behind her with the gun still raised. He wasn't satisfied with just making her say sorry, because he wanted to put on a show for the whole world to see, and what played out next was filmed live for a real audience.
Can you send the police to 1301 Natalie? 1301 Natalie? 1301 Natalie. Because they shoot Jonathan Robinson.
Okay, Jonathan.
1301 Madison Street.
Okay, is he shooting now?
Yeah, he's shooting now, ma'am.
Okay.
All
Can you
right.
tell me what he's wearing? Hold on. Can you tell me what he's wearing? Hello?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what...
Ma'am, I can't tell what he got on.
Okay, yeah. Can you see him right now? Officers need to know when they pull up who he is.
He's in a car.
Okay, what kind of...
He's in a little brown car. The car's still in the driveway.
Okay, who is he shooting at?
He's shooting at my daughter.
Okay. Okay, is everybody safe inside of the residence?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
My daughter in there.
where's your daughter at?
She in there now.
Okay, and what's your name, ma'am?
Anita Williams.
Okay, I'm going to keep you on the phone if you can so officers get there so you can make sure you guys are okay.
Okay.
Okay, and where is he at now? Do you know?
He in the house still. He's still in the house, ma'am.
Okay, he's in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and where are you?
I'm outside. I'm at a house. All right.
Okay, no, stay on the phone with me.
Tell them, please, ma'am, to hurry up.
They're on the way. While we're talking, they're on the way, okay? Are they into some type of dispute or something?
Yes, ma'am. He have the gun. He in there now.
Okay, and you don't know what color shirt he's wearing or nothing like that?
He got on burgundy shirt, but the car's still in the yard, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine, but like I said, you can stay on the phone with me.
Okay, it's 1301 Nelly. He's in the house with the gun.
They're already on the way. Is your daughter in the house, too?
Yes, she's in there with my son.
Okay, and your son, how old is your son?
He's 30.
30, okay. And he did fire a shot?
Yes, ma'am, he did fire a shot.
Okay, like I said, they're on the way. If you could just stay, just stay where you are safely. Let me know what's going on so I can relay the information to the officers.
Okay.
With the camera rolling, he taunted her and let out everything he was feeling, knowing full well that he held all the power in that room. Renita was terrified, and she tried to do exactly what he asked, hoping that going along might somehow save her, but his mind was already made up, and right there in front of a live audience, he pulled the trigger, and Renita Williams lost her life while the whole thing was being filmed. But the nightmare didn't stop when she fell, and what the police were about to walk into, plus what Jonathan would later confess in that interrogation room, somehow made an already horrible day even darker.
When the police rolled up to that house on Natalie Street, Jonathan did not even think about giving himself up. Instead, he turned his gun on the officers, because by then he had decided he wanted to go out too. And what came next was a tense standoff that dragged on for around 80 minutes, with SWAT teams and negotiators surrounding the home and bracing for the worst. He kept firing, completely swallowed up by his own rage, until the police finally tried a different approach and brought Sharika Taylor in to talk him down, and only then did the storm inside him start to calm. Whether it was love or fear, or just being worn all the way out, she got him to put the weapon down, and Jonathan Robinson gave himself up and was taken into custody. Once they had him in that interrogation room, the picture only got darker, because Jonathan admitted he had planned the whole thing, laying it all out in a cold, almost casual way. He said he made up his mind to end Renita's life the second he woke up that morning, and he even admitted that he wanted a shootout with the police because he was ready to die that same day. And with all of that already set in his mind, he drove to his aunt's house to grab the gun and bought 40 bullets earlier that day. What made it even eerier was the way his emotions kept flipping, because one minute he was breaking down crying, and the next he was insisting he knew exactly what he was doing. The more investigators dug into him, the clearer it became that this was not some one-time slip from a regular guy who lost his temper. Jonathan came up in one of the roughest parts of Shreveport, and where Renita fought to rise above her surroundings, he ended up becoming a product of his, running into trouble with the law from a young age, and over close to 2 decades, his record filled up with serious charges like domestic violence, aggravated assault, and even attempted murder. He spent years going in and out of prison, and every single time the system let him back out, he went right back to the same patterns. So the warning signs around this man had been flashing for a long time, and Renita giving him a second chance, as big-hearted as that was, turned out to be the one decision that ended up costing her everything.
With his own confession on the record and the whole thing streamed live for the world to see, the evidence against Jonathan was overwhelming. He was charged with first-degree murder, and in Louisiana, a crime that heavy can carry the death penalty, which is exactly what he was staring down. But the case took a turn before it ever reached a jury. On January 24, 2019, Jonathan pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, along with several counts of attempted first-degree murder, which spared him from execution in exchange for life in prison with no chance of parole. During the court proceedings, he showed flashes of something that looked like regret, at one point turning toward Anita Williams to say he was sorry, but none of it could undo a single thing, and his fate was sealed. For the people who loved Renita, the grief had no bottom to it. Anita, already wounded in her body, was left carrying the much deeper wound of burying her own daughter. And she has spoken about her anger and her disbelief that somebody she once trusted could do something this evil. The whole community of Shreveport wrapped around the family with vigils and memorials, and on April 21, 2018, Renita was laid to rest in Princeton, in Bossier Parish, Louisiana. The small, everyday details are the ones that hit the hardest, and when her brother sat down to talk about that last morning, he remembered sending her son out to the car with a few dollars for gas, never once imagining what that ordinary little moment really was. So listen to him tell it.
So when he came back to the car, the last time King seen his mama, she was giving him $8 or $9 to give to me to put in the gas tank. That was the last time King seen his mama.
As heavy as Renita's story is, the hardest part to accept is that it is far from the only one, because years later and far up north in Minneapolis, Minnesota, a 34-year-old mother of 2 boys named Mariah Samuels lived through something painfully similar. By every account, she was the kind of woman everybody loved, a dog groomer with a soft spot for animals, sweet and outgoing and full of life, and much like Renita, she kept her children at the center of her whole world. For a few months, she dated a man named David Wright, but once she saw who he really was, he made the same brave choice Renita made and walked away. And the problem was that Wright simply could not accept being left, so the moment she tried to close that door, his behavior turned dangerous. According to court records, he attacked her and even held a gun to her head, and around that same time, he started sending her threatening messages, including one warning that somebody was going to die that night. Here's the part that makes Mariah's story sting even more, because unlike a lot of victims, she did everything she was supposed to do. She didn't stay quiet, and she didn't just sit there hoping it would pass, so she took out an order of protection against him a few weeks before her death and called the police more than once to report that he was breaking it by calling, texting, and following her around. She reached out for help over and over again, but that piece of paper and all those phone calls did very little to actually keep her safe, and the people who were supposed to protect her fell short at the moment it mattered the most. Then came the morning of September 14, 2025, and just like Renita years before her, Mariah turned to Facebook to speak her truth, posting that Wright had been stalking her and that she was tired of being afraid in her own life. What she didn't know was the man she was running from was already right outside, watching and waiting. And only about 8 minutes after that post went up, Wright opened fire on her as she climbed into her car, taking her life just a few feet from her own front door. When investigators worked the scene, they counted around 15 shell casings near where she fell, and witnesses described watching him try to drag her out of the car before he hopped on a bicycle and rode off like it was nothing. He didn't get far, and once they had him, the coldness in him matched everything Jonathan Robinson had shown years earlier, because when detectives sat him down, he calmly told them he wasn't going to fight the case, almost like he had already made peace with exactly what he had done. In the end, a jury found David Wright guilty of first-degree murder, and he was handed life in prison with no chance of parole, the very same ending Jonathan got. And the thing that should stay with all of us is what Mariah's own family and the people handling her case said afterwards, that she did every single thing we tell women in danger to do, and the system still failed her. 2 different women, 2 different states, years apart, and yet almost the exact same story, because both of them tried to leave, both of them spoke up on Facebook, and both of them lost their lives to a man who simply could not handle being told no. Renita Williams should still be here right now, raising her 3 kids and building those beautiful homes she loved so much. And her story sitting right alongside Mariah's is a painful reminder of how quickly a toxic relationship can turn deadly, and of why those warning signs can never be brushed off, no matter how hard somebody swears they have changed. If you or somebody you love is stuck in a situation like this one, please do not wait, and please do not try to ride it out alone. Let us know what you think about this story down in the comments, and may Renita's soul finally rest easy. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this, and we'll see you in the next one.